see the image where it's
Yes. Let's go.
Okay, here's the plan. I'm going to mask the floor and cover it. I'm going to just mask the edge of the windows in case I run over slightly with a brush. This section is going to be black, same as the floor, with a mirror there. This section is going to be wallpapered, as is this one. And then this is going to be the feature wall. Like that. Are getting dark now, so I'm going to jump ahead a phase and maybe temporarily put one of the lights in place on the ceiling. So I've unwound all of this and I'm going to try and stick to the roof, give me a bit of extra light. So in here, I'm going to run it probably along the back of here and then down just to give some ambient covered lighting. But I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't anticipate this reflection on the windscreen, but I think it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with how the wallpaper turned out. Hopefully it stays on there. And I just need to sort this wall out now, which is where these gold striped panels are going. I'm just going to be sticking them on there with some silicone adhesive. Now, turns out that standard adhesive didn't stick, so I'm going to put a bit of contact adhesive on that edge of the cruiser, hopefully. Second time round it might stick.
These wall pieces are just plastic trim from Wall Panels World.
Oh. Oh no. Oh, that's gone really badly. Yeah, maybe I overpressured that. No, not again. Oh, you're kidding me. Why? That was really low pressure. Oh man, this is really not ideal. I guess I'm going to have to try and do it the old-fashioned way. I don't know if I'm going to have enough room to film all this, so I'm going to talk it through first. I'm going to flip the mirror. I'm going to put some tape round. I haven't decided which areas yet. See how much tape I have left from the windows. Spacer tape to keep the silicone in, and then stick it in there. Put some silicone. Wish me luck, because that is really likely to break. So, silicone on. I had enough spacer tape for those edges, that edge. So that should keep that from squidging out anywhere and stop anything squidging that way. And then I'll tidy these corners up at a later date probably. I'll probably get it stuck. I can't imagine it'll squeeze out that side, but we'll see.
This is 3mm mirrored perspex from Brighton & Hove Plastics. Mark did warn me to be super careful with it.
Oof. Small mess has been made. Just need to clean this off a little bit there. That is the business. I think that's really cool.
I'll also be adding some liner to the roof section at some point. This is just some Sikaflex 291i to seal the gap between these two pieces. This is one of the transom eyes, watertight Richard models. I was originally thinking of having frameless doors, but they were either too heavy or too bendy. These are made from the same 5mm perspex as the windows, and I'm bonding on this polished 316 stainless channel to stiffen them up.
So, rear door, wardrobe door.
I'll also be adding some 3mm black perspex on either side to spread the load from the hinges. This is the roller from the door for the cupboard under the sink. I ordered it about 1mm too big. This is from High Peak Conversions, and I must say they were super helpful.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the bottom in first and then pull the door along and glue the top one in.
This is just some Araldite 2021 epoxy adhesive, similar to what held on the previous channel. here is some 3mm perspex which I'm bonding on in the same way as the windows with 295 UV. Brushed finish 316 stainless angle here is going to act as a return for the doors, as well as something to put the seal on. In a more ideal world, the doors would open out, but that's not how it was designed, so I'm making my interpretation of the original wooden slatted doors. There was some corroded aluminium angle on here previously, with a million holes drilled. The lock I bought, I thought it fitted over the trim, and all I had to do was drill some holes. In hindsight, that was pretty impossible, but I just hadn't thought it through. Luckily, I was able to do this without causing any damage to the doors. I bought this tape from Lick, which was meant to be bleed proof. It's not. So on the other side, I stayed well away from it with the primer. Here are the plastic reinforcers going on, and I'm running an extra bead of 295 UV to stop any water or dirt ingress. I still hate silicone, but I think I'm improving a bit with the application. The bottom of the door is catching on the threshold, so I'm sanding it down with a flap wheel. I'll probably put some floor pins at the bottom of the doors at some point too. They're still quite flexible, but more importantly, they're nice and light. And you can see through them from inside, which is what I wanted to make it feel bigger and improve rear visibility. To replace the damaged rubbing strake that I assume had been on there from new, I fitted this Wilks 50mm rubber two-piece with help from my glamorous assistant. I had left it against the radiator to soften, but in honesty, this would have been better done in the height of summer. I used an off-cut of plastic conduit to hold it open, whilst I fitted the self-drilling screws. I used the same offcut when fitting the insert, which had been sat in a bath prior to fitting, and towards the end we used a hairdryer to keep it warm and malleable. Now winter's properly here and the outside is fairly close to done, I'll be concentrating on the wiring side of things and fitting those gadgets that I showed you at Christmas. I'm still hoping to be on the water by summer. Do subscribe and follow along. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
It's going. Have you not seen the image?